and it was kind of like there was a million Zooms and so many things that we could do since 2020. And it's been really easy to just kind of hermit and not actually step up and get people together. So I'm super grateful for that. I think it's super important to mastermind. So today, as we unpackage a lot of information and spent a couple weeks putting together, the most important thing is that we mastermind, we ask questions, and we collaborate. We all learn from each other, and that's why I'm super grateful for people here from different companies. It's a huge passion of mine, and I've always taught agents, no matter where you hang your license at, we all get better together. And the top are going to stay at the top, and that's how we all grow together. So please, today, no one wants to sit and listen to me rant for an hour and a half. So if you guys have questions or any tidbits that you can throw in there, please contribute. All right, so first things first, the most important part of this plan that I put together has been in 2022, there was a big shift in interest rates. And what was important about that is how many people's business since 2022 went down. Like in 2022, whose production went down when the interest rates went from 2% to 8%. Did you feel that shift? Because you're lucky actually, because the people that started in 2021 actually had a false idea of what real estate really is, because they were just falling from the sky, right? So you're in a better position starting now. I know it doesn't feel that way, but I promise you it'll get better. And we're going to unpackage all that today. So my business in 2022 was all built on lead generation, internet leads. And I built a pretty amazing business over 10 years, but it was definitely leading on this one leg, right? And then when the interest rates adjusted, it completely changed everything. And I realized, like, okay, this thing needs to be stabilized. A table cannot stand unless it has 4 legs. So I realized upon joining Place, and I'm so grateful that I partnered with Ben Kinney, and I'm so grateful that I've been in partnership with the last 3 years, even though at the time I was like, oh my God, what did I bite off and what am I doing here? Because it taught me how to structure my business, not just waiting for leads to fall into my lap, but actually build a business and train agents how to build a business no matter what the market's doing. And so all of these buckets were actually created by Place, and certified courses and everything that has helped allow us to make sure that we have an actual plan that we can build into people's businesses. So that's kind of how it all started. And let me just figure out as we get this tech stuff figured out. Did not. Okay, so. Get this all situated here. All right, so first thing, we've got agent models. So obviously this is going to be built around whatever your goals are in real estate. A lot of people are debating whether they want to be an independent agent or be on a team. So it's important to know, no matter how you're structuring your business, how to use this model in both scenarios. So if you're a team owner, it's important to know in a partnership while you're building your team, there's a whole section. If you go and get your real estate license and you're a new agent, this is how you would build your business as an independent agent just fresh out of real estate school. And this is the side that would allow you to be able to have a sphere, your open houses, and your prospecting. Those are just automatically the areas that would allow you right out the gate with a real estate license to instantly get business. The more people that you know, just organically having open houses, you can always at least set one if you don't have listings out of the brokerage, and then prospecting if you have a plan for it. The most important thing is when you're new, there's a lot of shiny objects, right? And there's a lot of people that are going to be hunting you down, trying to get you to sign up for all of these things that will just magically get you successful. There's a lot of that. So it's important to know, how can I build a plan for that? So you've got your agent side, and then you have the business side. The business side is when you actually join a team or organization that already has those things built out. So you already have leads that are raising their hand, searching consistently. You already have a brand that's already out there for the public. You have all of those things that are going to allow you to work now and jump in and double your business because you're not building it yourself. So both of these merged together are the 6 pillars. So we're going to dive in to how to be able to actually structure that into your business, no matter what your business goals are. So here's a more in-depth breakdown of all of these different pillars. Okay, so Sphere, there's a few different ways that you can dive into that. You have auto plans, and most people that first start on in real estate have some type of a CRM or something, especially with all the AI. It's important to be able to know, how am I going to utilize this in my business now? And also, there's a science to breaking it down. And this is what a lot of people don't talk about whenever they talk about the different buckets. They'll just touch on different areas, but they won't actually have a plan on how to implement these things. So if you're looking at Sphere, we need to know, without feeling like a slimy salesperson, how am I going to build this out with my Sphere to actually be providing value to these people that I know? Because it's nothing in the world sucks worse than having somebody that you know use another realtor because they just didn't think about you. So there's a plan for that. So, and I'll send these slides out to everybody as well, so you can, get some tips on how to build this in your business as well. Okay, Sphere plan. So you don't need to feel like you're the slimy salesperson to sell to your friends. There's a plan behind it. So what we do is we focus on the 200 Sphere contacts. Sphere is one of those words where people are like, I'm not going to get on the phone with my friends and family. I'm not going to, sell to them or feel like I'm pushing real estate on them. There's a non-abrasive way to do that. And first, whenever somebody is uploading their 200 contacts, they're just excited. Like whether it's you starting in the business as an independent agent, you can use that company's success. So as an independent agent, you could say, hey, I'm Wendy. I just joined one of the top brokerages here at Keller Williams in Lake Havasu, or whatever the success is of your company, right? I'm at Realty One, one of the largest brokerages in the city, and I'm super excited that I have all the support here, and I'm excited to help you, by the way, what are your real estate plans? So wherever it is that you house your license, it's important to know you're not upselling those people, you're providing value to them. How would you feel if you put your mom in the car with an agent that didn't care? Or an agent that truly just didn't have a plan, they didn't answer their phone, they were flaky, they were part-time. Like nothing sucks worse than knowing that someone that you love and care about is in the hands of somebody who truly doesn't have a plan for them. So just think about it that way. Whenever you're thinking about your Sphere, like they do need to know that you're working, whatever your plans, whatever your value propositions. And a good way to start is to really sit down, whether you're new or not, and figure out what is the value I'm providing. You're available. You already are miles ahead because you can bounce ideas off of people that have already been doing it at a high level. That's the beauty of franchise brokerage that you work at. At least leverage that, right? I always look at it like when you first get your license, you're an agent, you're figuring out what gym you want to go to, right? And it's not necessarily the brokerage, it's about what you're getting there, right? So you join the gym, but that only works if you actually have a plan or someone that can provide a plan for you, right? Like a personal trainer, that's a team. A team is like, a good team is like a personal trainer. And then after that, you have elite people that are in partnership. Whatever that ends up looking like, the value is in the plan. So if you're trying to increase your business now, we have to ask ourselves, what does my day-to-day activities look like? So your Sphere plan, that's A number one. Make sure that whatever CRM you're using, that you upload all 200 contacts on a CVV file. You can have that in Google Drive, put them all on. Even now, 12 years into real estate, that's something you can do and get so many more referrals. Super important. Because so few people realize how impactful that truly is. Okay, so 200 Sphere contacts, upload that into your CRM and make sure that you call those people because there's nothing better than calling people that already know your name. The most important thing is if they already have an idea of who you are, it helps that much more whenever they answer and you say, I'm so excited, I'm at XYZ brokerage and I'm selling real estate full time and I'm so excited to help you, by the way, what are your real estate plans for the year? They already know your name. Okay, send them on a market report. Whatever CRM that you guys are using, it's super important to have and use the AI and the technology to make sure that they're at least getting a market report or something of value that's not just a listing alert. Most people will set up a listing alert and forget about it. But there's 6.5 months inventory right now. So the last thing you want to do is just put them on a listing alert and think that the AI is gonna do your job for you. Okay, the most important thing is to be a salesperson, because where are 90% of our clients coming from? Another state, right? So imagine if I was gonna go buy a house in San Diego, the very last thing I would ever wanna do is be on a drip in San Diego. I would want the top agent in San Diego calling me up and saying, hey, what are you looking for? Here's the best deals in that area. Here's where you should buy. Here's 3 of the best ones on the market right now that match your criteria. Do that every day. Everybody has a hot lead list. Go in every single day, take the time, text those properties to that person, because I promise you, no one's doing it. People always think that the listing alerts are going to sell the house. It ain't. Okay, they're going to forget all about it. You know why? Because they're going to end up on Zillow or Realtor.com, and an aggressive agent that's working harder than you is going to get that sale that you've been working for the last 6 months, because they went that extra. Nobody knows what a good deal is here. They don't live it. You know what I mean? Do the work. Find it. Especially if they're hot, it's fun to do the work, because how much better does it feel when that person comes back and says, you found me this house. I didn't just bring it to my agent. She brought it to me. Like, it's important to be able to find those opportunities. And the most important thing right now, more than anything else you can do, is set the consultation. I will set the consultation whether they're ready to buy now or not. Because how many people end up taking 6 months to a year to buy? Get face to face with them. Because they're going to buy a lot faster if they're sitting in a room with you than they will just by getting listing updates from you or trying to plan it out. Also, a lot of people say that they have to wait a year. 90% of those people buy way sooner than a year if they have a plan. Even if they're shopping for retirement, a lot of people will end up buying a second home before their retirement and then end up upgrading later. So always practice that. Our biggest goal in real estate is to problem solve, and to also provide an opportunity for them to think differently about how they can win in this market. Because they don't know. Very few people know there's 6.5 months inventory, and that we're negotiating 5 to 8% off asking right now, because they were the same people that were shopping when it was 2021, and they were offering 80 to 100 grand over asking just to get into a house. Well, they got defeated. Those same people shopping 2 years later that are in the pond, those people are hot now. But our script has to change. We have to be calling those people and saying, hey, I see that you're still getting my updates. I see that you're still getting everything I'm sending. And I want you to know that now is a way better time than when you signed up on my website 2 years ago. Right now is the time to negotiate. At the end of this year, the interest rates are going to adjust. What does that mean? If I get 8% off of the asking price for you, you're going to have 100 grand at least in equity, because that will happen. It's already happened. All right, so Sphere quarterly events, making sure that every single person, the Sphere plan is just value. And for me, I didn't grow up here. I was an implant here. I didn't grow up here, didn't go to school here. I built my business here, that's it, okay? So for me, my Sphere plan is my past clients. Every past client list that I've had is my Sphere. So this plan can be used not just for people you know. If you're not from here, that's okay. Who's in your phone that you know? Who cuts your hair? Who cleans your teeth? All of those people are people that are providing a service to you that probably need to buy or sell, or would like to know what's going on in the market if they already own a house. So people get so caught up on what a Sphere person is. A Sphere is anybody that has seen your face. If they're in your phone, then they should know that you're available and have a plan, be getting some type of piece of value from your website from you. Send out a market report. Market report just shows what's going on here in the city. If you don't have a CRM that does that, then do the work yourself and send it out to them. There's market summaries on Flex you can send. Yeah, what are you doing to thank them? So sending out handwritten note cards for your past clients every quarter is super important. Holidays are kind of a no-brainer. There's services that you can sign up for that actually look exactly like handwritten. We have inked, so it literally is crazy. It looks like we hand wrote the cards, but we didn't. So they have like a bunch of robots in this big warehouse writing these cards out. So it's a service you can sign up for. It's called Inked, and that's what we use. And you can send out holiday cards. You can send out thinking of you cards, any type of cards. Also, it's really good for a small area farming. So if you sold a lot of properties in a specific neighborhood, you can send them out to that neighborhood. Birthday cards, those are super important for your past clients and Sphere, just thinking of you. Now, and anything sentimental like that, holiday, birthday, I wouldn't ask for business in those cards. Like those are just send it out, I'm thinking of you. Now, in your quarterly cards, always ask for the referral. You can always ask for the referral in those quarterly cards. By the way, we'd love to work with more people like you. Keep me in mind if you know it. The same method can be used for past clients. That's been a huge part, probably a good quarter of our business is from past clients. So make sure you're calling your past clients. And the big thing, even if you haven't called them in the last year, call them anyway, because I sent a card out to somebody I forgot to follow up with. And it was 4 years later, she got the card and she called me and she's like, Alf just passed away. We need to sell the house. Thank you so much for thinking of me. So super powerful. All right. That's the end of for the Sphere plan. Is there any questions or anything, any takeaways on the Sphere plan before we dive into prospecting? That's a lot of information. Okay, we're gonna keep rolling. All right, prospecting. So there's a lot of talk about prospecting right now. There's not any laws right now that are holding you back from the DNC, but all of the programs that we use Mojo, Tyler, for prospecting. And what we do with Mojo when we create a prospecting list is we use it for our open houses. Because oftentimes people will go to an open house and they're just sitting there waiting for people to walk through the door. It's important when you take a listing to actually call that whole street and let them know, hey, I have a listing about to hit the market. So how many times have you taken a listing and literally within a week, there's 4 listings on that same street and they're all with different agents. It happens all the time. So it's super important to get those listings and let them know ahead of time. Call and say, hey, I got this listing on 123 Main Street. We know that neighbors like to choose who live by them. We wanted to see if you had any friends or family that are looking to move into this neighborhood that we could connect with first. So call, let them know. By the way, Mojo does scrub the DNC, so you don't have to worry about having to call people on the DNC, and we'll scrub that for you. So map out the area you're going to call. This is really just as powerful as farming. You know, a lot of people spend good money on farming, but how much more powerful would it be if you were farming and if you were prospecting that area, because they already have a picture of you, they have your contact information, and they already know who you are. So if you follow that up in that area with a phone call and say, hey, I'm top agent here at Keller Williams. Just wanted to call and see what your real estate plans are. I have a buyer looking in this neighborhood with a flexible time frame. And that's so powerful for people because the only big thing that a seller doesn't want to feel is pressured to sell their house. So if you give that space, same with a buyer, when we're making calls, we're not like, hey, when are you going to be here? We're like, hey, saw that you've been looking for the last 2 years at everything I've been sending, and we're negotiating 5 to 8% off asking right now. Just curious when you're going to be down here so we can make sure and pair you up with the best investment opportunity. When's that going to be? So we're providing value and providing space. All people want to know is that you're not a high pressure salesperson, because agents have a bad rap, right? You almost have to change the mindset of people with certain agents, because all they're asking for is the appointment, when we should be asking for what it is that they want. And very few people listen. So the most important thing is that consultation right now. If you can't get face-to-face with them, that's okay. Ask the questions so that they provide you with that criteria. And actually, it's a really good check-in too, because almost everybody has a database of buyers that never ended up buying. We have a huge pond of people, and we just call and we let them know, hey, I know it's been a while and you put your search on the shelf. And I just wanted to call and let you know that right now we do have quite a bit more inventory and a good opportunity for you to find what you're looking for. And I don't know what criteria you want, because there's 6.5 months inventory. So I don't want to flood you. Nobody wants 700 emails of houses that don't match their interests. So if anything, it's a good way to check in. Use the market data as a reason to check in. I look at the 6.5 months inventory as an opportunity, right? How many times were we trying to sell properties when there was nothing to sell? That was way worse. It's a much better opportunity to say, hey, there's a lot more that we can choose from now. Know that the script that you're going to have, so the plan, there's 3 different ways that you can prospect, and we'll dive into that after this. But you really want to know what is the strategy behind it. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing your tail. So there's 3 different ways. You can look for listings. You can look for a buyer to bring to your listing, or you can just be calling to figure out just what an area's plans are in general. right? So there's 3 different scripts for prospecting that you would need to keep in mind. So the most important thing with this is knowing who you're calling and what you're gonna say. And also don't change it up every week. Like, give it some time to be successful, you know what I mean? Like, so people are like, oh, it didn't work, now I'm gonna try this again tomorrow. No, like, stick with it. Like, if you're gonna be finding listings for prospecting, stick with it for 6 months. You don't sign up for a lead program and be like, oh, I didn't get a bunch of leads today, I'm gonna cancel it. Like, give it 6 months. You know, same with prospecting. If you're gonna look for and fish for listings, make sure that you're fishing for listings. You could have another day in your schedule where maybe you're trying to find a buyer for your listing, but make sure it's consistent every single week. And then you have the script the same every week. Have value in your back pocket to provide them with a market report you can send. We often call whenever somebody gives us their information and says, yeah, we might be interested in the next year. We often thank them and say, awesome, we're sending all of our clients a free market report. It's going to keep you up to date on what's happening in your neighborhood specifically. Go ahead with your email, we'll send that to you. And that's how we fill our listing pipeline with people that potentially will sell in the next year organically without paying top dollar for a listing fees. Be consistent, have 1 to 2 days a week that you can sit open houses. The most important thing about sitting an open house is not the open house, it's what you're doing at the open house. So when you're there, make sure that you're making calls. Like, honestly, I enjoy sitting open houses because it's quiet. And I get to go there and I don't have to worry about getting distracted because I'm peaceful. It's a squirrel up in here, dude. Like, no joke. I'm like, sometimes it's just peaceful, right? So you can go there, you can sit, and you can just enjoy having some peace and quiet to get your calls done. And that's when I do prospecting. When we're in office, I lead generate my database. When I'm at an open house, that's when I'm searching for new METs, which is prospecting. And so you always have to have that penciled in, because if we're just left to our own devices, very few people will sit in the office and prospect. So use your 2 a week. I always say 2 per week. New or not, it's good to sit an open house at least 2 times per week. To get your own property sold and then make those prospecting calls while you're there. All right, be consistent and you'll get 98 no's. We only care about the 2 yeses. So don't feel defeated. If it's not something that happens right this second, you get 2 people's contact information, that's a winning all day. Think about how many people actually walk through an open house. If you get 2 clients walking through that house that say, I don't have an agent, that's amazing. And if you get 2 more on prospecting, they're like, yeah, I might want to sell, or yeah, I might want an investment property. That's 4 leads just because you went that extra mile and you didn't sit there and twiddle your thumbs waiting for people to walk through. So new METs are the future of your business. You don't want to just sit around and wait. You want to have a plan. And don't be scared. Like, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. It was way uncomfortable for me. Like I said, the chair analogy, like that was me and my business in 2022. And plus, I had baby birds I had to feed. So I also had to figure out at the time when I had no freaking clue what I was doing, like on how to add those pillars. I never prospected before. That wasn't a part of my business. I didn't do open houses. I literally just called the internet leads. But the problem with that is if you want your business to be sustainable, you have to have multiple buckets of business embedded into your business. That's how you overcome a challenging market. And also, if you don't ever want to feel the pain again, the sooner you do these things, the more sustainable your business is going to be. If you had 2 extra sales per month because you're consistent with these things, what would that do to your business? It would completely change everything, right? So keep that in mind. Prospecting is important and don't be afraid of it. Like I said, a lot of those systems will scrub the list for you. So if you're super worried about all the noise about the DNC, they have to cover their butt too, you know. Keep that in mind. All right, so prospecting mindset. Who are you going to call? These are the 3 different things that we want to dive into. There are multiple ways that you can prospect for business. You need to decide, am I searching for a buyer? Am I searching for a listing? Am I searching for listings or business in general? Okay, so it's super important to know who is my target audience. There's scripts for every one of these categories. So the most important thing is you're clear on who you're calling and that you schedule those calls in consistently every week, just like an open house. So there's a lot of people that always say, oh man, these open houses don't work. I hate open houses. Yeah, but you did it 1 in 6 months. So nothing you do in real estate works if you do it once in 6 months. So consistency is key and mapping it out. Because again, with these buckets, you gotta schedule the time and stick to your time blocks. One of the hardest things for me in my business was actually following the time blocks and saying no. There's so many distractions. No matter where you're at in your business, there's always a million distractions. So you have to get better about saying no. And it's gonna suck. Like, you know, some people will straight up, like, you might lose some relationships over it if you're really, really focused on your business. Sucks to say, but you know, people that understand are the people you want in your work. All right, so calling a person is so much more powerful than any other method. So many people have said in the past, like, you know, I text my clients. That's great, but not one person that I just got to know I've ever set an appointment with by a text message. You have to build a rapport first. If you are in rapport with those people, then that can work just to confirm an appointment or set an appointment. But if you're just now talking to that person, it's so important that you have the rapport first. So many people are like, oh, it's a bad lead. And I'm like, no, you just didn't get that wall down. If I had some random stranger salesperson calling me and I had no idea who they were, I would be like, just looking, maybe next year. Like, same thing happens at a department store. How many times do you go to Nordstrom and a person walks up to you and they say, what are you looking for? You know exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for that hot dress. You're trying to like show up at the party, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I don't need any help, but you do. Like, you might be shutting that same person down, being like, hey, I need a black cocktail dress, where's she at now, right? Like, it's the same thing in your business. So it's super important to know that when nobody wants to be sold anything, you have to earn the right. You have to ask yourself, did I earn the right to ask this person these questions? And you know that you're in rapport with this person if they start giving you their information of what their criteria is. That's why it's super powerful to call those people you've already talked to in the past. That could be a dead lead because they do know who you want already. All right, so why is it more powerful to call? Real estate is a numbers game and you get to be in control of who you're calling. So you can't control when or if somebody emails or texts you back, which as a high D, like super dominant individual, I'm somebody that I don't want to wait for the universe to send me somebody's response back. I want to create that. I want to be that person that's like, let's get to business right now. I don't want to miss that opportunity. So waiting for a text message, waiting for an email back, those are supplementary things in your business. It's not everything. Everything is the call. Everything is the face-to-face. Outside of the face-to-face, it's the call. Because you, once you're on the phone with that contact, are in control of how that conversation goes. There's three things that create a top producer. This is something that Ben taught me a long time ago, and I'll never forget. It's knowing what to say, which is scripts, having enough people to say it to, having enough leads, and saying it enough times. Just follow. So the three things. I don't care where you're at in your career. If you do those three things, you will absolutely have success in this business. But you have to be consistent. Know what to say it enough times, have enough people to say it to. So 3 buckets to remember: prospecting for listings, prospect for a buyer for your listing, prospecting for business in general. Prospecting for business in general, the best way to go about that is to let them know you have a buyer with a flexible time frame. There's not a lot of inventory in this area, and I want to make sure that my buyer has the opportunity if you're planning to sell it next year. What are your plans? Prospecting for a buyer for your listing is typically, hey, that's a coming soon. And that's so powerful because there's so much to choose from right now that you stand out if people can't just look it right up on Zillow, right? It's powerful to say, hey, Joyce, I have a property on 123 Main Street about to hit the market, and I know that most neighbors like to choose who live by them. Do you have any friends or family living in the area that we can send this to? All right, so having those three different ways, just know calling is powerful. By the way, this is off topic, but Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage right now has some of the largest market share for mortgage company right now. And those agents, the second that they get somebody's inquiry, are calling 12 times in one day, 12 times in a day. And they're one of the most successful, they're the best top mortgage company, and they're buying other companies out at rapid speed right now. And so every single time that we get a lead or we're wondering, am I just bothering them? Am I calling too much? They're getting those loans through. They're calling 12 times in a day. So the least we can do is call 3 times, and they gave us their information. Like, they willingly gave us their personal information, right? Like, somebody decided to give you their phone number, email, in an age where we're getting 100 robocalls a week. They willingly gave it to you. So it's gotta be a lot harder for people fishing for loans and things like that. If somebody gives it to you, that's a big gift, guys. Look at it like a present with a bow on it. And call them 3 times. So our plan for new leads is it hits our database. We call in the morning, we call in the afternoon, and then we have a Brevity dialer. So we call them on the dialer, and then at 5 p.m. to 6, if they still didn't answer, we'll call them from our personal cell phone. Because there's power, and then sometimes those dialers show up as a potential spam call. So it's important that some people won't answer those at all. So still call from your cell phone. I also have a burner phone. I can get my son a phone that he only uses it part of the time. So Brian, you're my hero. Actually, we ripped on Brian too for so long, but it's so.
If they block one, you just call with the other.
Yeah. Call with you. I'm like, I feel like you're gonna get a beeper next. Like, I don't even know how to get a hold of Brian.
No matter which one you call, I answer it.
It's true. It's true.
There you go.
Okay, all right, so prospecting mindset, if you guys download anything, use Mojo. I've used a couple other ones, Vulcan 7, a couple other ones. Mojo's been the best as far as just being in alignment with the laws and regulations. Haven't had a whole lot of people be frustrated by it. The neighborhood search tool also is super helpful. And it'll actually, you just do a radius, a 1 mile radius around the area you're doing an open house, and it'll collect all that people's data for you. Upload it into a dialer list for you. Okay. Any questions or anything at this point? No, there's a lot to be in there. Okay, all right. Just let me know if you guys, if I'm throwing too much at you. No, not on prospecting. Great question. I don't on prospecting because I look at prospecting as like kind of like you're hanging up a flyer. Right? Like for an event, you're stapling it to whatever all across or getting it out at different places in the city. I look at it like that. Like I'm a messenger. When I'm calling on a prospect, I don't want to give them my information in case it is that one Karen that calls back and they're like, really? I'm like incognito with the prospecting. So we want to make sure that we're calling and not leaving a message. I do call, and then if they do call back, I still don't even answer, because most of the time, if you're consistent with it, there's a setting on Mojo where you can just hit dial the people that didn't answer. So if you're doing it consistently, chances are you're going to call that person anyway, and you'll be able to pitch it while you're there. So a lot of times they might call you at like 7 p.m. You're not there anymore. So, you know, let them call them the next day when you're at that open again.
You know, on Mojo, when you can do like 6 dials at once, and you think you're like your voice recording, what do you do yours as? So like if 2 people answer at once.
Yeah, I just say, hey, it's Alexis. I have a property in the area I wanted to give you some more information on. Super big. It's kind of the same with like leaving a voicemail in your CRM. Whenever I leave a voicemail, it's just in general, if it's something that I haven't answered, I'll leave a voice. I'll just say, hey, it's Alexis, just calling to give you some quick information and then call back and answer. I give them like no information. Because if you leave a voicemail, it's super specific, why will they call you back? Like, do anyone on the
When we used to do basic act like the call was cutting out, like, hey, I'm gonna call you back from my cell phone. And then like, they think the phone's cutting out, and then you like obviously get off this call and then you call back this back.
That's smart. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just curious.
I just straight up leave it super basic. I'm like, hey, call me because I have a property in the area I want to let you know about. If they call back, great. I'll hit them on the next open though, because I already know there's only so many areas in Havasu. And what we find is if you have a few listings in the same area, you're calling that same list a lot. But there is a setting that will filter that. So I just tell people, this is just a dialer time. That's it. Your main focus should be all of the unconverted leads in your database, especially right now. There's so many freaking people raising their hand that want to look at property. But there's also a lot of, I'm not seeing a lot of objections. I'm seeing a lot of hesitation. So a lot of times we were practicing how to overcome objections. Now we're practicing how to build motivation. And we'll get into that here in a second. All right, so open houses. Did we already go over that? Okay, open houses. So How do you get serious buyers with an open house? I'm gonna breeze through because we're only on slide 7. So how do we get serious buyers with an open house? We do open houses generate 2 to 3 buyers per event. The most important thing with this is use and leverage social media. I've paid for ads for an open house before, got nothing from it. And I tried it for a few months straight to see if it did anything in my business, and it did nothing. The most powerful thing for me is those videos. I always drop those videos, I always have, and honestly, I use TikTok. TikTok's amazing for video editing, it's free. You can easily put some music behind it, you can put captions in there. A lot of people, if they won't watch the video, they'll at least read the captions. And it's super easy to use TikTok to edit your videos. And you can, pro tip, you can hit the save arrow button and save it without the watermark. And then you can share it to other platforms without the TikTok watermark. So I use TikTok to edit all my videos. And I'll share it to every platform. I'll share it to Instagram, Facebook, my business page, and then some of the groups. You can use hashtags and stuff like that to be able to get it out there to a larger audience. TikTok's been huge for those viral tags. And then make sure you put Lake Havasu City in there too, because there's a lot of people that follow it just in Arizona. So use social media, call a mile radius around the neighborhood, marketing 5 to 7 days ahead. I use the same marketing templates for every single post that I do. I have one for my pending ones, which I just created in Canva. And you want all your marketing to be branded and very similar. That where a lot of people go wrong is they don't have like a niche. Like mine's the sold pictures. I've been doing that my whole career. And a lot of that is not to engage new people, it's to engage my past clients. Most of the 50 people that are commenting on those sold posts are my past clients. So it's a good way that I can stay in front of my past clients. I have people commenting on there from that I sold a house to 11 years ago in another city. And they're still just raising hands. So that's my big thing I've stayed consistent with. Plus it's NLP, like people just see another sold sign. They don't care what type of house you're standing in front of. They just want to see that, wow, she's out there and she's getting it every day. Super important. So social media, use that for promotion. Directional signs, do about 10. If you're on I always like to pick open houses that are on or close to a busy street. So anything close to McCulloch where you can get organic traffic. There's a lot of loopy streets in Lake Havasu. So if you can do something that doesn't take 90 turns to get to, then pick that one. Because the streets will also get you more traffic, right? So be a little like selective on who and where you're doing the open house. Unless it's like a million, a luxury property up in the hills, pick something that's a crowd pleaser. I actually like the lower end properties for open houses personally, because who do you think is going to walk through? People that can afford it, right? So atmosphere, make sure that lighting, sense, music, temperature, all that good stuff. Always take your stuff the day before. The worst thing for me is I always think I have time, and then the open house starts and I'm like, man, I'm not ready for this. So get all your stuff there, get your signs there, get everything there, get your cookies there, whatever you got, whatever, put it all there. Make sure that you have a QR code or whatever you're going to use for your sign in, and be adamant about them signing in. Like I was so passive for so long. I was like, oh, it was kind of like optional. Like, don't make it optional. Like, they had to sign in during COVID. Like, this is your client's house. Like, make them put in their information. And if anything, if they bite you, just say, hey, whether you buy this one or you buy any other one, it's my fiduciary duty to make sure that you're getting properties that do match your interests. So go ahead with your email and your phone number, and we'll give you it. But make sure you get it. Bring pens, flyers, cards. And the most important thing is following up, and follow up the same day. The best conversion for people that are open house leads is following up that day. Don't wait till the next day, do it that day, because how many other open houses have they gone to besides yours? There's going to be somebody else that's more aggressive than you that's following up that same day, not the next day. Right? Internet lead plan. So this is an important key, and this is actually how I built my entire business, was internet leads. I actually, when I first started, was given a hand-printed list on a lined piece of paper with 100 names and handwritten phone numbers on it. And I got a script, and I called that list until I got the sales on. And I was hammering that list, because that was my claim to fame, right? This 100 lead list, right? So sometimes we have so many leads, it's not the number of leads, it's are we converting the leads? Right? I think so many people get so caught up in, I need more leads. We need a better script and we need a better follow-up plan because there's so much opportunity. Also, no matter where you buy your leads from, guys, if you're buying expensive leads from any lead source, we live in a resort town. So whether it's a super awesome hot lead or not, it still usually takes at least 3 to 6 months for a hot lead to buy, no matter where the source is. I used to spend a lot of money on Google leads and they were $75 a click when I was paying for leads, about $5,000 a month in ad spend. And I tested it. I tried Zillow, I tried Google, I tried all of those expensive lead sources, and every single one of those hot leads still ended up in a sale in about a 3-month period. And I aggressively bought them because it takes time for people, especially with the adjustment in interest rates, to decide if it's a good fit for them or not. And also, less people need a fun house when interest rates are at 7-8%. So no matter how much money you spend, my biggest takeaway in this class today would be if you guys could not focus so much on spending all your money on leads and focus more on working the database that you have. There's a lot of diamonds in our own backyard that are neglected. And remember, the conversion with that is 12 dials to get somebody back on the phone. All right. So don't feel like you're bothering anybody because people are busy. People have jobs, people have grandkids, kids, people have lives. And I know that whenever I get a robocall, if they call me at 6, I'm answering. But if they call me at any other time, it's not happening. So timing is important. The key isn't to just buy more leads, it's to convert the leads that you already have. If you need more leads and you don't have leads to call, then do all the things they just taught you to do and do it with a plan and put it on your calendar and make sure that it's consistent. And pick one, by the way. You don't have to do all of them. Just do one. If you're doing 2 open houses a week, I promise you guys, your business will increase, but be intentional about it. Don't be that agent that's sitting there on TikTok or whatever people do at open houses. Like, we're like, have a plan, like, greet the people. I treat those people that walk into an open house as I would a buyer showing. I would meet them and say, and give them the tour. Make sure that you're actually walking them through the property, that you're greeting those people, that you're introducing yourself, that you're figuring out and asking the questions of what it is they truly want, just like you would in a consultation, because people are going to use you. 80% of buyers that walk through an open house don't use another agent. That's why it's such a powerful tool for your business, because there's not 20 other people calling that. Same with prospecting. If you get a yes on prospecting, that's a true yes. They're gonna use you because they don't have 50 other agents calling them from the internet. You cultivated that relationship. They're gonna use you. Recent stats from top teams across the nation's data shows that it takes an average of 12 dials to get them to pick back up. Make that connect count. I always teach my team it's the Statue of the Liberty connect, okay? You want to make sure that you know what you're going to say to that lead when they answer the phone, okay? Because if they finally, after 20, 30 dials, answer that phone, you better be armed and ready with what it is you're going to say. And our biggest script is leading with the objection. What that means is if somebody had told us before that, no, I'm not looking, but we can see on our website that they are, I would call and say, hey, Mariana, it's Alexis. I know you said that you put your home search on the shelf for right now, but I just wanted you to know that we're negotiating 6 to 8% off asking right now for our investor clients. I wanted to see if you were still looking for a good deal if it presented itself this year. That's a different conversation because a lot of times if they already said, no, I'm not looking, they're going to be pissed when you call. They're gonna be like, I already told you, I'm not looking in Lake House. So it's important to call those people and lead with the objection so that they know that you're listening to them too. That's the best way to re-engage a lead that you thought was a dead lead. So make it count, lead with the objection. Anybody that's an unqualified is technically what most people would classify as a dead lead. So make sure that those people, that you just lead with the objection with all those people. We call those people unqualified leads because we don't know what their time frame is. We don't really know anything about what their plans are. So make sure that you're leading with the objection. There's a lot of stiff competition out there, guys. Right now, I don't know if you guys follow any other numbers on the market or Lake Havasu as far as agents and production goes, but we are officially in a 90-10 market. We're pretty close to this 90-10 ratio of, 90% of agents doing the mass majority of the business in this market. And it's important that we understand if we're going to change the trajectory of our business, we can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Like there's a quote for that, like that's the definition of insanity. And that was me, like for a long time. That's why I'm so passionate about this. So make sure that you pick one area that you're not doing. My best advice is the prospecting with the open houses combined. That's a beautiful combo because no matter what, they want to know about something that they can't look up online and they want to know and feel like you're the market expert when you're calling them and letting them know about it first. So don't be the average agent. Make the call. I'm gonna breeze through this one real quick. These are the last two buckets here that I'm gonna break down. This is more about, team opportunities. So if you're a brand new agent, you don't have listings yet, or you don't have an inside sales agent setting appointments for you. This is more for team leaders, or people that are running teams. If you have listings, then you have to have a plan behind how you're going to distribute those leads amongst your team, right? So when we look at partnership, like I said on that lead gen wheel, there's what a business is or what an agent has already created, and there's what value you get from that team. So obviously, if that team leader has all these listings and everything, they're going to get leads from that. So who are you going to round robin? Probably your top agents that show up that actually do the work, right? The other ones, they can figure it out. Show up. Drives me nuts, dude. Show up. So figure out who you're going to give these opportunities to. Handwritten note cards around the area. You can also, for us, the big thing to help our agents with their listings, if they get a listing on their own, we structure it to where they get all the leads for that listing because that was your hard work, that was your relationship, whatever, you should get the lead. So I actually do specific targeted ads for through Brivity for that specific listing, and they get all the buyer leads for that listing. And then they have an opportunity to double end that listing. But we don't do round robin things. I also don't change the split on my team. If I set the appointment and I give an agent that opportunity from somebody from my database, because I believe that if people are showing up and doing the work, that's just part of partnership. You give people opportunity that show up and do the work. So there are a lot of teams that do change that split. They'll do like a 60-40 or 70-30 because their views. But you structure it how you want. What's important with this is that you explain within your team the benefit of what it is that you're providing to them and the fact that it's coming from you as that team owner, because it's easy to just get into the thick of it. People forget where that business came from and then they start to think the grass is greener on the other side. But if the opportunity is coming from you, they need to understand this is part of the partnership of this team. And you're getting this opportunity, even if they're sitting in your listings, those buyers are in their database because of it. So it's important to know as a team owner and reminding those people, especially if they're new, where those opportunities are coming from as part of the partnership. So inside sales agents, that's me. I'm super passionate about making calls. Everybody knows that. I enjoy it. I just put on music and just make calls all day if I could. I hate showing houses. So literally I don't want to walk in a house. I don't care what it looks like. Sorry. So when you're setting appointments for your team, make sure they have an incentive plan of some kind. So it's a win-win, right? People like win-wins. Like it's only a win-win if it's really clear on what the wins are, right? So when I send you these slides, make sure that you really break this down and decide, what does this look like within my team? What does this look like in my business? Because like I said, all of these things can be used no matter what your plan in business is. Just have a plan, okay? And then partnership, what it means to level up together. Again, this is more targeted for team owners. Partnership means we level up together. Not what can you do for me? I don't know how many people have trained agents and then it's more like, hey, hand out what does your team do for me? It's not how it works. And we look for people that are in it together, going to grow together. Partnership means you show up with an open mind, you show up for coaching, you show up for all of these things, and then we'll map this out together to be able to make sure that you can build a sustainable business with the tools that we provide. So and that needs to be really clear right now because it is a tough market and team leaders have never worked harder to provide opportunities for the people on their team and they take it for granted, to be very, very honest with you. And it's hard. It's really hard to sustain your business as a team owner and train new people in the process. And there's a lot of sacrifice and time that goes behind it. So just keep that in mind. Okay, one of my favorite quotes ever, repetition is the mother of skill. And I love this, and I keep that in mind in my business because really everything that we do is very much like you're training for any sport. If you do any type of sport, the only way that you get better is it's mundanity, it's boring, and you have to do the same thing every single day. It's not glamorous. Like if people actually followed me around with a camera and saw what my life was like every single day, it would be pretty damn depressing. I'm telling you. Like it's not sexy on any way, shape, or form. What I do every single day. But if you're gonna be successful at all in this business, the most important thing is that you do the things that you don't like to do. You make the call, even if you don't feel like it. And go that little bit of an extra mile because very few people are taking it seriously right now. A lot of people have given up, to be honest with you. I meet with several agents a week. I do that not because I'm looking at opportunities to help people. And my biggest passion and dream in this industry has been, if I can just help somebody and we can make the industry that much better and we can help somebody get better, that's how this whole entire ship turns around. And so we have to be more open-minded. How much value can I provide to somebody? Not just at my clients, but other agents that we work with. It's tough out there. So it's important to be able to have those conversations and also don't give up because the conversion ratio is double what it used to be in a decent market. Hands down. So if you feel like you're just going around in a circle, I am doing calls, I am doing this, gotta double down. That's how it is. You have to, whatever calls you're doing has to be double. It took me a long time to figure that out. 10,000 phone calls. Figure that out. But do the work. All right, this is the value slide. So, for value, be the superhero, not a parent. So this is some really awesome feedback here on do's and don'ts to provide value. We work on scripts on the team a lot on how can we provide value because we were going over objections, but there's not a whole lot of objections. It's more just, is now a good time to buy? So a lot of it is statements that we're getting. Oh no, thank you so much. I appreciate it, but we're just looking right now. We're just looking, or we'll be ready in the next year, or we haven't seen anything we like yet. Those are objections that are actually statements. And then it's easy for us to say, okay, I'll keep you updated on to the next person, right? And then a good salesperson gets that same lead within a couple-day period and they get the same. So how do we provide value? That's what we practice. Every single person is going to say, I'm just looking because there's 6.5 months inventory and they don't know what it is they're looking for. So what does a good salesperson do? They figure out what it is that they need, right? So we ask those questions. We have to know what are those questions and actually listen to what they need and then write notes. I have the memory of a dead rat. So I have to literally I bring notes with me everywhere. Every single time I'm on the phone with somebody, I have to write down those notes and I have a profile for every single lead. I have a digital profile. I have a notebook in my car and I have a notebook in my bag that I bring with me everywhere because I have to write everything down. Everything has to be. Oh, side of mind. So be a superhero, consultant, not average agent. So a lot of people look at even call days as like, oh, it's a call day. Like, we need to change that. It needs to be more like, hey, I'm a consultant. I'm going to figure out what these people need. So it's just that change and shift in mindset when you're making those calls. You're consulting with these people. And I've even been guilty of it. Like, oh yeah, I need to make them calls. It's a call day. Like, we're calling leads. These are people that all have different situations. So consultant, every time an agent says just calling to check in, an angel loses its wings. I saw that online and I always think of that now because it's so true. It's like, how many times you'll be calling and checking in with these leads forever. You have to call and actually have a meaningful conversation with these people. And it's all right if you don't. And also, you're never going to convert it on the first call. A lot of people try to get all this information on the first call. You're not going to get the sale on the first call. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to follow up a couple times. So it's okay. Like, just get as much information as you can. And if they're giving you all this information, you know that that's a silent acceptance of wanting to work with you. If you follow up after that, you got to follow up. Know the difference between an objection and a statement, and then correct that and keep them on track. So the difference between an objection and a statement is the fact that most of the time they're just saying all that they know. They're just saying, hey, that could be the honest truth. We're just looking, we haven't found what we want yet. So the important thing to know is what are the big selling points in Lake Havasu? The top selling points that add value to a property here that would make a buyer want to buy is garage space and a pool. Well, if you guys have gotten bids on how much it is to add a garage, it's between $150,000 and $200,000. Okay, depending on the size of the garage, and it's about a year wait. So it's important to know if somebody is looking and debating on, oh, we want to buy a $450,000 house and we'll just add the garage space. Bad plan, because that's still going to put you in the $700K range and a year wait, and you're putting a $150,000 garage on a 1990s house. Like, at the end of the day, shop the RV garage list and negotiate. That's why I'm so glad that we're on the phone right now, Mary, because actually there's 6.5 months inventory and I can negotiate the best RV garage home for you right now. Let's go. Right?
Yeah.
So few people create the opportunity. And it's so important now because I actually did have a client that added a $150,000 garage on a 1970s house, and I told him, I said, it's a bad idea. I said, plus very few people, it was 1,000 square feet on Bombay. And I said, bad idea. Is gonna have a really tough time selling it. And I had a really hard time selling it, had to do a million price adjustments. Okay, so every time, yeah, so make sure you're not checking in, providing value. No, don't follow up on the listings that you're sending, call with the listing you found. That's what my process for anybody that's hot. Also, nurture leads, which are people that say I'm about a year out, are the easiest ones to let them just forget to follow up with them. Everybody's about a year out. So make sure you're following up with your nurture leads or whatever your database is to categorize. I'm sure there's different tags for everyone. For us, it's nurture, which is about a year out. Hot is anybody from 3 to 6 months. And then an unqualified is somebody we just haven't been able to get back on the phone. And then we categorize them accordingly. So make sure that you're following up weekly with, I would say at least once a month with your nurtures and making sure they're actually a year out. And then your hots every single week. Now the hots, I don't start off, I used to call them on a dialer. Now I start off by sending them the specific property that matches their criteria. And then I will call them because they got the text, they got the email and it's specific, so they're back on my website. And then so oftentimes, what if they're not actively back on the site for a month, they're probably searching realtor.com or Zillow or homes.com. So I want them back on my site before.
So you're sending them the link from your site.
Yep, so Brody has this Brody app and you can just hit whatever the property address is and you can text and email it to them through the app. So if you have that on there, it gets them back on your site. So constantly, our goal should be getting those leads back on your website always, because the second they land on Zillow, their info is going to be sold to 10 other agents. So you want them back on your specific, even if they came from Zillow, you still want them searching on your. Oh, thank you. Okay, so next thing, okay, value, motivation strategies that work, do. So check market data, send to all the last visit, best deal of the day. I always focus on if somebody's new in the business, the best thing you can do is look at the hot sheet every single day. Print the hot sheet, like look at it daily or at least on Monday so that you can have those deals right in front of you. And then pick out the top 5 best deals off of the MLS right now. Because oftentimes everybody wants almost the same criteria. So no matter who you're calling, if you've got 5, you've got an RV garage and pool home with the best price in your back pocket. You've got the best investment opportunity for a long-term buy and hold rental. You've got, the best option for an Airbnb. You've got the best option for a boat deep 3-car garage with a pool. You want all of those, at least 2 in each category, so that when you follow up with somebody, you can actually say, great, glad that we connected today. I know of a great opportunity for you. And I think we could get the price down on these as well. Let's negotiate on this. When can we be out? Also, don't be afraid to pitch the video tour. We've sold a lot of properties sight unseen with that video tour. So make sure that when you send those properties and it is a good fit for them, that you also make it convenient for them. So not everybody can make a 7-hour drive down here, and let them know that you can also provide a video tour. Local events to secure an appointment. So when I'm calling and I'm providing value, I'm always thinking, okay, what event is coming out? Desert Storm just passed. We hammered the database and said, hey, are you going to be out for Desert Storm? It's okay if you're not planning on buying right now. We just want to set up a quick consultation with you so you we know what you're looking for. Whether it's now or later, you know, we can meet face to face. I can show you what's going on so you can be better prepared. So local events, your value proposition, a lot of times they forget about this secret sleeper, like, you know, people just really want to know that you're a really good agent. There's not a lot of really good agents out there, just like constantly available, right? So everybody in this room is showing up for this, like, you're a really good agent. So make sure they know your value proposition when you call them and say, hey, I'm somebody that answers the phone on the weekend. I'm somebody that follows up every single day. I'm somebody that has a plan for you. And I want to make sure that you can see exactly what you're looking for and not just get 700 emails that don't match your criteria. So know your value proposition, whatever that is. The most important thing if you're new right now, write your value proposition. If you're new, it's availability. It's answering the phone. It's working at a top company with you know, leaders that can help you. Whatever it is, write it out, whatever your specialty is. Everybody has a niche, right? Lean on that niche and write it out so it's clear to you. All right, this is my favorite thing in the world to teach. This is like, I've had the same thing on my whiteboard for years. This is something I actually just came up with within the last few years, because it was really easy to get a lead on the phone and forget what to ask them. So I really came up with this, and I'm like, well, all these questions can be used to qualify leads. So who, what, where, when, who, what, when, where, and why, and how. And this is also a good way to leave notes in your database. So when you connect with somebody, and like I said, you're not always going to sell them on the first call. So if you get half of these, guess what you're building? Rapport, and they're giving you information that they otherwise would not have given to you. So it's already a silent, yes, I believe in this person as an agent and their capabilities. Sometimes they'll even go down a rabbit hole and tell you way too much information, what's going on medically in their family. Like, you have really deep conversations by asking these questions. Because think in our own relationships. Most people don't go home and have intricate conversations about question-driven relationships, right? So very few people actually really are curious and coming from contribution and finding these things out. So how that would look, we're going to role play real quick, okay? Ring, ring. Hello. Hey, Lauren, it's Alexis at Keller Williams. I wanted to reach out. I saw that you were getting the properties that I was sending. I just wanted to see who else is shopping with you here in this area.
Oh, my husband, Bob.
Oh, okay, awesome. Go ahead with Bob's email. I want to make sure that you both are getting the stuff that I'm sending you, so you can both be on the same page.
Actually, Bob has like 50,000 emails, so I'm the definite person to send the email.
You're the go-to person.
Yeah.
All right, happy wife, happy life. Love
Yeah.
that. All right, what are you looking for, Lauren? I know you've been following everything, and there's 6.5 months inventory right now, so I just want to make sure you're getting all the best options. Is garage space important to you?
We'd like a 3-car, like 40-foot deep for the boat. We have a bass boat, so it's not tall or anything.
Okay, so boat deep, would that be like 40-foot minimum?
Yeah, 40 would be good.
Okay, great. So, and then is side parking important to you?
We'd like it if possible. Fence is going to be a huge deal because we've got 4 dogs.
Okay, and then do you need to have a pool pre-existing, or is room for one an option?
We're not really crazy about pools anyway, so we're good.
Okay, perfect. That makes it a lot better. A lot more options there and room for negotiation. So we'll focus on getting that garage space for you. Awesome. And when are you planning on coming down next, Lauren?
Not really sure. Our friends are kind of looking at coming down in like September when it cools down.
Okay, great.
October.
How often do you usually come to Lake Havasu?
Every like 3 months or so.
Oh, awesome, awesome. How long have you been looking for a property here?
We came down a couple of years ago and liked the area. Our friends were down, so like a couple of years, I'd say.
Perfect. All right, great. Where are you moving here from?
From San Diego.
Awesome. And so this is going to be a second home. You don't need to sell your San Diego house?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, Lauren, I'm really glad that we connected on this because we actually have a lot of opportunities here that match that criteria. I know of 2 right now I'm going to send you right after we hang up. And then when's Bob going to be available that I can make sure that his criteria is in alignment as well?
He's a fireman, so he won't be home till Tuesday.
Awesome. I'll follow up on Tuesday and make sure that everything I send you is a close match for both of you. Also, and you know, what's bringing you to Lake Havasu? Why did you guys choose Havasu?
So we just like the lifestyle, like it's slower than California and we just like it.
Awesome. Do you guys like boating and everything? Okay. Perfect. I never hit the lake either, so. Awesome, all right, and then, are you guys gonna be paying cash or using a loan?
We are probably going to end up selling one of our investments and paying cash.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Awesome. So our lenders actually has several different licenses across the US and super knowledgeable. And especially in California, there's a lot of different ways that you can get that financing. So I'll put you in a group text with our lender right after this call, and then I'll follow up on Tuesday when Bob's available as well. So did that sound scripted? It didn't sound scripted, right? And it didn't sound like I was asking all those questions as I was going. So it's super important when you're qualifying. Also, she was, most important thing, responsive.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as she said hello, you started talking immediately. Is that what you do when you immediately start?
What else would you do?
I don't know, maybe ask how they are or.
Ryan does that. It drives me nuts. He gets good responses with the "How are you?" It drives me insane, but
Do it every time.
I do that too.
he gets great. And
She goes, and she does that we do this every morning. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning.
And every single time Brian says, "How are you?" she like rolls her eyes.
She twitches a little bit. But it's part of how I do it.
it works. It's your delivery though. It's your delivery too, though.
Yeah, sometimes it sounds super fake.
Either, because it's just a transfer and objection.
Exactly.
Like,
You're
I-
teeing it up for them to say, "Oh, how do I get off this?"
I called, we normally do call nights with our team, we haven't done that in a while, and this one guy was like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm actually walking in the door with my mom's ashes, like, what do you?
Oh.
Sorry, I'm qualified, like, he was like, yeah, so my mom left me money, like, got him in touch with the lender, and everyone's like, that conversation going, like, you literally just have people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's talent too, because a lot of people get hung up on that. But the reality is,
Don't
like,
ever ask how they're doing.
you can also be empathetic. Like I have an account with an attorney that sends me all these probate cases, and it does suck because it's all death. I feel like the grim reaper of real estate sometimes. And literally, like, the most important thing is that you're empathetic to whatever it is they're going through, whether it's medically related, whatever. Hey, I'm super glad that I was able to talk to you, because whatever that time frame is, I just want to make sure that you know that I'm here for you. I make it easier for you.
Call back in 6 months.
Mhm.
Straight up. And also, if they're active, like, also remember if they say no and they're still looking, unless it is like, a serious situation, like they are waiting here because the daughter's graduating and they can't move, something like that, then I'm not gonna hammer them as much. But almost every single buyer has a specific time frame, and it's just due to the fact they don't have the proper information to make a choice. But if they're looking every single day, someone's gonna be calling them. Might as well be you. Okay, so that was real time. I have this in front of me even to this day. If you guys can get half of these on a call, that's a huge win, because that gives you a reason. Just remember, the other pro tip is to set the stage for the follow-up call for the rest of the conversation. If you get half of these, then you can call them back and say, okay, great, glad that I was able to connect with you today. Because a lot of times they'll say, oh, I'm in the middle of something, or I'm on, whatever the thing is. If they have to get off, great, I'm gonna follow back up with you after I send these 2 properties and make sure that those were a good fit. When you get back on the phone, you can even template this in your notes on your CRM. If you got who, what, where, great. Figure out the last 3 questions when you call them back, and you'll know everything that you need to qualify that lead.
Mhm.
It's all right if you don't get it every time. If I get 2 of these and they respond, I'm happy, because as long as they're telling me about their plans, it's telling them that they're gonna buy in Lake House, right? There's only one thing in the world worse than being talked about that's not being talked about. I love this quote. You want to be so omnipresent, and in today's day and age, there's so many tools that we can use at our fingertips. Just don't be a secret agent. Like, if you're a really good agent, people want to use you. People want to know that you exist. So stop hiding, like, get out there. It's just a video. 90% of the people that look at that video don't watch the video anyway. So drop the video. I remember Dustin Runyon, he used to be the team leader here, and there's one thing in a social media class he said that I'll never forget. And he said, your shitty video is better than their no video. And it's true. And I've kept that since day one, because all that the video does is shows people, and I leave my open house videos on forever. I don't care else, because I want my clients to land on my Facebook, which everybody's going to, and see the value I provide to my clients. But I don't care about who's watching it, or if I mess up, I mess up in every video. I suck at videos. I mean, I stutter all the time. It sucks. But it's okay, because I don't care. I also know 90% of the people are probably not gonna watch it. The ones that are, that's a win. Yeah.
They like seeing that.
I would still do agents too, like whoever's sitting back making fun of your videos, probably don't have as many as.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. They're doing one a year.
They're watching
That's
the
okay.
video, that's-
Yeah. Nailed it. So true. Haters gonna hate. I literally just posted something like that today. It's like, man, the people that have an opinion are just not doing the activities that you're doing.
Mhm.
They're probably not gonna be your friend anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so never give up. This is actually real-time footage, guys, of a lead that I had called many times, 140 times. But there was somebody that was consistently, it was one of those people that like every single day they visited the website, and it was driving me absolutely insane because I could hit them back on the phone. And in our CRM, we can actually pull it up and see what they're looking at, how many times they looked at it, and what properties they looked at. Actually, matter of fact, it texts us too. So literally like Journey could be a salesperson. And it tells you how many times they looked at it, which one, where they're at, the whole thing. So 417 views, average price, he was just on a day ago, and 246 visits the last week. That's a hot lead, right? But I still couldn't get him on the phone, so I was calling an average of probably 6, 7, 8 times a week. I finally got him on and set the appointment. But like I said, I didn't really work for that appointment, guys. And I'm just a gritty ass person. I'm somebody that I will not give up. I will not give up, because if they're actively searching, they're going to end up, somebody's going to get the call. And a lot of times it's because you're calling from a phone number that they're used to or blocked. If you're getting a busy, it's probably blocked. Be waiting.
Got a guy yesterday, it was the 153rd phone call, and he finally answered the phone, and he is now looking at stuff.
Never give up,
Yeah.
especially if it shows you, because it shows you in real time they're looking, so.
I mean, I gotta give you some props in there. I think you had 70 something phone calls to him before you transferred it to me.
Okay, but that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because so many people are so focused on new leads. You guys, the best thing you can cultivate are the leads in your own database that have actively been searching. It's a tough market. You get a new lead, that's a year of follow-up. You're already 6 months behind when you could have just called the people that were actively searching in your own
That
database.
guy had registered October of 22.
Yeah, if you actually look at a lot of the people that had sales in the last year, most of those people started looking when the market was really tough and they were making offers and they got defeated. Now they're looking back again, but they're still a little bit bruised from that.
Yeah.
It's important. It's a really good reason to follow up, guys. It's such a powerful reason to call, because so few people know what's going on. Nope, very few people know how much inventory is available.
This is the most inventory we've had since COVID.
Yeah,
I just feel this
And
an
you
email with
feel it.
24 listings. I'm like, yeah, you get 2 today.
yeah. And also, the interest rates have adjusted. So the most important thing for people, we don't get a whole lot of issues with people saying that interest rates as an objection. But what's most important is to tell people if and when, obviously there's not a crystal ball, but when they do adjust, if they adjust a half a point even, that's gonna open up 1 million more buyers into the market. What do you think is gonna happen to the price?
Yeah.
So the most important thing is to explain to them, right now, you can get 5 or 8% off, you're already, interest rate isn't gonna change your payment that dramatically if it drops a point.
Right.
But if you're saving 60, 70 grand right now by negotiating, and then the interest rates adjust, you can refi. That's the most amazing opportunity that we have right now, because if interest rates are high, the inventory is gonna be high. Yeah, if interest rates are high, you're gonna have high inventory. If interest rates are low, then you're gonna have less inventory. So there's never going to be a market where there's average low interest rates and a lot of inventory. Because you have a lot more buyers that can qualify. Right? Right now, there's not as many, but we're in a resort town, so most people end up paying cash or put a large amount down anyway. So when you get those buyers that are on the fence, just use that. Let them know, hey, I'm actually calling because I don't want to see you miss this opportunity. Right now, you can get a better deal than we've ever seen in this market. Right now is the best time to buy. It truly is. Okay, so 140 dials. Brian hit 132, got the sale. Don't give up. And also, if you're in a database on a team with a bunch of leads that have been actively searching, you've got a gold mine. Like all those people that are like, oh man, I don't want to hit the pond or I don't want to call those old leads. Those old leads are way better. If somebody gave me the opportunity to buy a database of new leads and a database of somebody that was getting out of the business, I would choose all day getting out of the business. Because all those people have already been on updates for an extended period of time. And I know the scripts to convert. So, seasoned database all day long. All right, so if the number worked in the past and they ghosted you, start with those leads first and dial from your CRM and or your cell phone. So hit the last visit. On our Brevity CRM, we can actually hit last visit and we can see all the people in real time that have been looking. So call all of those people first and then make sure that you're hand dialing those people after as well, because they are actively searching in real time. So you want to hit those people first. And I treat those the same way that I would dial a new lead. Call them at least twice. Call them once in the morning when they're likely to answer and call them once in the afternoon later in the day. And hit them with a hand dial is what we call it. So call when they're more likely to answer, hot and actives before 8 a.m. and after 5 p.m. And then time block weekly for those money dial calls a couple times a week. We call those our last active people that are searching actively on the website in real time. It's kind of like, depending on your personality, like I've always enjoyed internet lead generation because I look at it as a game. Like, how many people can I connect with today? How many people can I get on a yes? And how many people can I stack up my calendar with? And the most important thing is, if you're new, just get to 5. When are your next 5 transactions? Where are they coming from? It's okay if it's not right this second, but you want to have your next 5 people, ideally 10. If there's somebody that's seasoned, you should always have 10 on your board. But if you're new, just get to 5. Who are your 5 hottest people? Write it on a board and have it in front of you. I have it in a notebook. I have it on a board. I have it on my CRM with tasks. I have it on my calendar. I have it every, to this day, whiteboard for life. I don't care how much technology. I'm a tech nerd, by the way. I nerd out. I love everything AI. I love everything tech related. I think it's absolutely incredible. And I think the more people stop running from it and learn about it and instill it in their business, you will never have a problem in getting a sale in this business. Because there's so much leverage that you can have if you just spend a little bit of time understanding it, how it can leverage your business. Because you add the AI plus following up as the good agent to stay in relationship, you're going to kill the competition, no matter what. All right, so leverage your database. If you have a database that is showing you where these hots are, they're texting you, make the calls no matter what. And then it's all about your mindset, right? You get the results that you think about. This was actually one of the biggest things that I've realized just in general. I hired a life coach that's changed my whole entire life. Like just the small routine things day to day that you wouldn't think about just by hiring a business coach. Like, what are your routines, right? Like every single day, what are some things? Where's most of your time? What are some things in your personal life that you know that you're neglecting? Pick one thing and instill it in your calendar. You can use your calendar for things that you need for self-care too. Do it. Let's do it. One thing.